Greetings, you willing test subjects of the algorithm, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Iterating, and of course, welcome back to the Land Adventure mode now in the Stable branch. This is going to be the very first episode of the proper run in the Land Adventure, which means this time we're actually going to continue where we leave off. And my goal today is to build something a little bit on the stupid side. Now, eventually, we are going to be building ourselves a tank. It's going to look hopefully tank-like. I have a few ideas in my head already, but today, really, I want to try out something stupid. I want to try out a sled using rubber blocks as skis, or perhaps a true sled bottom, able to get us from A to B nice and quickly using the new propellers. Now, of course, when I say new, I mean new to me, because these have been changed for quite a while now. These have replaced the old deader blade spinners, and they're kind of awesome, apparently, though very different to what I'm used to. They need clearance, and they have loads of other settings, and they're apparently a little bit finicky to use, especially on ground vehicles, at least from the people I've spoke to, but that's exactly what I want. We're kind of building a fan boat ski for the desert. You know, that usual type of thing. And my main weapon I want to build today is going to be a CRAM cannon. Now, I'm not too sure how good a small CRAM cannon's going to be, but I'm going to go heavy with the payload compactors, heavy with the gauge, and the idea is we get one shot maybe per minute, but it's going to be a deadly shot, and then we simply run away. So lots of running away, lots of speed, lots of resource gathering, and hopefully a few killer one-shots. At least until we increase our difficulty. Again, a tank is the end goal, likely with advanced cannons, and then some missiles purely for defense. We're only going to use missiles in this run for the anti-missile capabilities. So we're using missiles to fight missiles, is essentially what I'm trying to say there. Okay, I'll be right back once the sled's in its at least very first stage of development. A very me start there. I built the whole thing asymmetrically, so now I've got to start again, because that's just the way I build. You know the old adage, measure twice, cut once? Apparently I did the complete opposite. Which would be cut twice, ask questions later. Okay, so this is the propeller itself. So it has a clearance of 88.2%. You can see the X is there marking where I believe the clearance is being obstructed in some way. And then the clearance is below 90%, which is decreasing the efficiency. It takes time to get to maximum thrust, etc. And that seems actually decent. But one thing I'm thinking is perhaps having two propeller blades. That way we can control both turning and forward propulsion with the same blades. I don't know how good that will be, and I imagine it being quite vulnerable, but also imagine it being quite fun and different to control. For now, though, giving it a quick test, friction seems to be decently low. That's actually really good turning. And then let's see if we can move this thing forwards. We can't. Why not? Oh, okay, it was set to the wrong thing. That's fine. Whoa, 80 meters per second. Now, of course, right now we are light, but still, that is very decent speed, and is reminding me about something. There is a new chair type as well, which I'm very keen to test out. Apparently this chair will make our controls a little bit more smooth. It'll make our camera smooth. As you can see, the character's kind of bent right now, because the chair is, and as we move around, that should keep our camera a lot more stable. Actually, yeah, that is really good. We're hardly bouncing around. The actual camera itself is staying pretty much stationary. It's a little bit of wobble. You can see by the craft wobbling in regards to us. Oh, that's really cool. Ooh, I think it works in this mode as well a little bit. Interesting. Well, that's something we'll need to test out more later. Oh, I just made it flip. Thankfully, we have time to fix this. Hey everyone, Future Lathrix here, just saying massive thank you to all the support this series has already got, and of course this is the first episode of the true Land Adventure mode, where we're going to be going all the way into difficulty 100, facing off against every enemy that the game can throw at us. This series did take a little bit longer than expected to get into the swing of things, because the stable branch was delayed significantly, about a week or so, but now it's here. I will be posting these videos, hopefully fairly reliably, for the next couple of weeks until the series is finished. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your patience, and hopefully this series will live up to expectations. As you can see in the background, there's some weird designs we certainly haven't seen yet. And in this video, speaking of weird designs, you're about to see a ski craft go through so many iterations I can't even remember how it looks at the end. Expect to see a lot of weirdness throughout the episode. And of course, likes and comments are very, very welcome, and make sure this series stays on the channel. Thank you so much for listening, and now back to the past, where we get into some really bizarre design choices. If you get stuck in this mode, you need to flip, just add a jet engine to one of the corners, There we go. And nice and easy. We did lose the propeller, but thankfully, once we repair it, we should get back 100% of the resources. For now, though, I'll just put down a jet so I can quickly get back to the resource zone. We'll probably end up with jets, but at least for the start of the game, I really want to use those propellers, so I need to learn how they work a little bit better. So I'll be right back once again, once more progress has been made. One other thing I really want to quickly mention, because otherwise people will mention this for me, is that the munition decorator is now a thing, which basically means you can now decorate your missiles, you can change their models. I've seen people throwing just giant blocks into the air, I've seen people throwing carrots, all sorts of things by decorating them. I'll be doing a separate video on this probably in the next week or so, just messing around with this. I do know it exists, I'm just not going to use it in this run, because I'm not going to be using missiles. In theory, this should work. Okay. So as you can see, one's going forward, one's going backwards. That'll enable us to turn. If we start going forwards, both of them are going forwards, and if I try and turn, one should just turn off. I could make it so that goes in reverse then as well, but I don't really want that, because if we do that, what's going to happen is we'll lose a lot of our speed. At the moment as well, we're going to be hitting the ground quite a lot, so ignore the rumbling nature of this thing. Okay, those rotors obviously need to be placed somewhere else, but at least in theory that works. Also, did I just see a red dot? Oh no. Okay, let's make a really bad makeshift cannon. Okay, there's no need to fear. The enemy is one of the nuke enemies and apparently can't detect us from this range, so it's just staying still. Look at them nukes. Nice and far away. We're fine. The first resource zone has been completely used up, and now here we are moving along, kind of crashing into absolutely everything because these rotors have been placed way too high for our center of mass. I was hoping I'd have a little bit more time, but apparently not. Now, there are some enemies around, but so far all they are is little bikes which are struggling with the dunes themselves. So, let's get to this resource zone and build a very basic CRAM cannon so we can defend ourselves. And, you know, armor this thing up so it's not just a completely open raft. Been here for a while now, this resource zone is almost gone. Most of the enemies are trying to fight each other and they can't quite get to each other because they're so far away. It's been very lucky, to say the least. Now, I'm very tempted to just go with a cannon similar to the Bertha, which is all in the actual cap itself. Originally I wanted an integrated cannon in the body itself, but we're quite small at the moment, and I feel like that's going to just really put us at risk. Though I am super tempted. Okay, this is a really basic cannon. There are currently enemies kind of everywhere, and this resource zone is gone, so we need to get to the next resource zone. Ooh. I was going to say before we get shot at, but apparently something beat me to it. I can't see where the enemy is. Well, I need to completely cover this thing up, and hopefully we can take out some small enemies with a nice cram shot. This is not a good cram cannon, by the way, but please bear in mind it will be vanishing within the next, like, one resource zone, probably. Things change very quickly in the first few hours of this game. Okay, we have a friend here. Ow. Oh, 41k, okay, well, that was a first one-shot kill. So yeah, this cannon is kind of terrible. It's only able to fire once every 50 seconds, but it can do a lot of damage with a pretty slow shell. It's not gonna be around for long, but hopefully it's gonna fulfill the role we just did there. It also has a timed fuse with a decent explosion radius, so I'm hoping it can take out some of the small aircraft as well. Okay, let's keep on moving. Let's find another resource zone. We need to complete our armor at very least. Then we can figure out how we're going to advance this craft. As you can see, it's not exactly, well made right now. Okay, we have a friend. I was peacefully testing out ideas then. Oh, we have a friend with lots and lots of missiles. Jeez, what are you? That's not the Wisp. I kind of thought it was the Wisp to begin with. Okay, we have a friend which is worth over triple what we're worth. We're under significantly less than 20k at the moment. Oh, a direct hit taking out whatever that was on top. Still got missiles though. Yeah, it's damaged us quite badly, and actually we don't really have much engine power right now. I don't really have many RTGs. All of my money's gone into armor and the cannon. I'm not going to be able to outrun it, so I want to sit at least in the resource zone so we can repair as we take the damage. It's a good first shot, but now we've got a long reload before we can fire again. Well, quite a few things off him. He's not firing missiles anymore. Well, considering that thing's 3 times our cost, I think we've done pretty well disabling it. Good enough for me. Let's get back to the resource zone, we can relax, and then fire again later. Yeah, this cannon's actually kind of tiny. It does a decent chunk of damage, but it can only fire once every 45 seconds at the moment. Now, it may look like a complete mess what I'm currently doing, and honestly, it is at the moment, but what I'm trying to do is massively extend this thing. This is going to go lower, and our 2 new skis are going to go far, far wider. And this is going to cause issues with turning, I'm fully aware of that, but it's also going to give us plenty of space to change where these propellers are. The propellers are going to be basically here. I'm going to remove these skis completely. We're going to be a lot higher up from the ground, giving us more armor underneath. That's where more RTGs can go, because at the moment we just don't have enough power, and we also just don't have enough firepower. We're just lacking in pretty much every regard, because again, currently, we're only 16k resources. That is incredibly little. The little planes were like 9k. You know, one day I might build something more traditional. That ain't today. Sometimes you have to say no to traditional beauty standards and just embrace the messy chaos that's in all of our heads. I've also had no sleep for the last week, and I'm consisting mostly of caffeine and sugar right now. Look at it, it's like a weird frame that suddenly came to life and is angry about its own existence. Probably one of my dumber choices to just ignore the fact we're under attack, continue running away, and build whilst running away. However, that's just more fun. I love that cannon. Okay, as long as I don't destroy the rollers, I think I'll be fine without the side skis. At least until all this is removed and replaced. Okay, same damage weapon, but now it fires every 20 seconds rather than once every minute, so at least we can use it in combat. Now, the problem is we are running out of resource. I've also added a lot more engine power to this thing, well, a lot more RTG, so we can actually refuel our engines. And that's left us with no ability to fully armor up. I need to add some basic movement to this, and I need to find a resource zone right now. I went far too far building this weird floating boat. I need resources. We're gonna have one shot before we're out of resources. So stay still. Boop. Thank you. I've never seen one of my craft look more obviously in construction before. I swear I have an idea how this thing's meant to look at the end. Well, that thing is very quick and very evasive, and we have cram cannons. A cram cannon. Is it ever going to go in a straight line? I mean, I pushed it down at least, and oh, that was beautiful. I don't think I'll ever have a moment quite as beautiful as that kill. That's a lot of missiles, and oh, just about dodging them. What are you? That's the Wisp. I know what that is actually. That is definitely the Wisp. So this thing has a really, really nasty set of the simple lasers and EMP missiles, which thankfully I'm pretty resistant to. Okay, I'm gonna stop still. Let's see if we can get a good hit. First hit. And actually not too bad. Took out some of its backwards thrusters there, which means likely I can now outmaneuver it. Or I'm going to just start flying because something was taken out. Let's ignore that, because I can fix that in just a second. Yeah, I should fall flat. You know what? Let's re-add those thrusters. I have been messing around with the building of this thing the entire time I've been moving. Incoming more missiles. Again, we do have surge protectors quite well placed, I think, but still don't want them to break, if at all possible. Okay, I'm gonna stay still again. Wait for this thing to line up properly with us. That was not as good as the first hit, okay? Lots of EMP there, not much damage taken. Yep, surge protectors are definitely the way forwards in the land campaign. I was just about to start building my secondary weapon as well, a small advanced cannon on the front. That should not be flying that much, right? Oh, there we go. Yeah, that one got underneath its armor and completely obliterated it. Still in love with this cannon. Especially now it's firing every 19 seconds since I've been tweaking it. Did not expect that to be so deep, and I was just about to say how much better the controls are right now, which they are. Controls, overall speed and everything else I've just made a lot better, but just tweaking a few things, so now we're very easily able to go 70 without losing any control. Or if I max it out, I can go about 80 meters per second for a short burst. Everything's looking better. Now, how much speed can I get without losing power is the question. So this is just cruising between battles. A little bit less, there we go. So about 50 meters per second we can just do very casually without losing power. Oh, and there's a very small enemy on its way apparently. Ooh, you're different. Why are you? Very erratic. I really need that small advanced cannon. Well, I'm going to risk it. Doubt that's really going to work, but still. Oh, never mind. That's a wing gone. Whoa, what is that? Okay, looks like a crow of some kind. That's kind of horrifying. Need to have a closer look at that. That is the Firefly. Oh, that is so cool. Well, that worked as intended. Ow. I'm difficulty 15, but we're still seeing some of the smaller craft, so I need one more red portal to get to difficulty 20. The propellers have really grew on me. I'm not entirely sure how I'm meant to armor them up though, without causing them to lose their efficiency. Currently they are at 100% efficiency because they're just over 90% clearance. And controlling this thing is an absolute dream. It may be one of my favourite things to control in From the Depths so far I've built, so that's certainly saying something. Currently just taking it nice and slow so we recharge nice and quickly. After all, our advanced cannon is now also taking up energy, being a railgun. We are on difficulty 20, but so far the enemies are still being quite small. But I don't want to go too far ahead, because we know that larger opponents can spawn. We've already seen some lightning hoods. Is that one of the nuke ones again? Yeah. Oh, no, it's not. Hello. Ooh, that looks a bit bigger. Oh, I love this. What are you? No, it's still tiny, the Rattler. But I know larger things can spawn in this difficulty, and I don't want to avoid them. I want to see everything that's available to us. I think I'm going to give it another 20-30 minutes, see what spawns, and otherwise we are going to go even higher difficulty. We are in 20 out of 100, and I don't want this series to really last more than 5 or 6 episodes, but still, I don't want to race through the difficulties. But I also don't want to be here for so long that we end up overpowering it massively. Currently, we cost 55,000 resources, so we're still not that expensive, especially in comparison to some of the Twin Guard we know can spawn. Hello? Anyone home? Well, it was pretty, but not much brain power. The same can be said with me, if you also remove the prettiness. Well, we're being attacked by a set of these jets, the ones we destroyed earlier in a very fabulous fashion. Ow. The flak really isn't made for something with this much armor, honestly. I doubt I'm going to get a cram hit here, but let's see. Okay, knocked it again like before. This time, sadly, not quite taking it out of the air. Oh, a fantastic hit with the flak, though. And down you go. So what are these things exactly? There were 3 of them, and I managed to take out one with a flak hit, and then... Okay, so they're 24k each. These are the Gannets. Very cool looking. One crashed into the ground, now there's just one left. That flak shotgun is so much better than I think it is every single time it fires. Oh, is it gonna go down? Come on already. You're just proving to be very annoying. Oh, just the mare. Though, to be fair, the mare is more expensive than we are. It's definitely one of the lesser ones of the Twin Guard. Also, this thing is still flying above us. Can you please just go away? You look like you're in horrible amounts of pain. Let's go after the mare. I really want to shoot it with a cram cannon. Oh, that was wonderful. Turns out cram cannons are just pretty good when everything's so small. Is that flyer still here? I think it's abandoned you. Well, that was over pretty quickly. Can we please get a larger target? I want to fire more than one shot to win. It's at this moment that many of you may have noticed this, but Lathrick's only just noticed that the craft is called Morty 45, because originally it was going to have a mortar weapon, and then I just spammed numbers. I've now called it Ski Lad. Now it makes more sense. Is this thing really still chasing me? You know what? I feel bad destroying it. Fine and follow me. You're my new friend. Okay, if you can actually do that, then never mind. Friendship over. Set up the gun to have a couple more loaders. Oh yeah, that's even better. So basically the little shotgun blast is going to be even more brutal. That is definitely a wisp. Oh, I was hoping by moving at the end there we might be able to avoid some of that. Once again though, we do have lots of surge protectors which are pretty much negating all EMP at the moment. I am surprised how effective they can be. Don't know why I'm using the flak here, honestly, since the flak's only really made to destabilize enemies. Again, if we swap this for high explosive or anything else, that could really be quite brutal. Ooh, speaking about destabilized. Well, that was another beautiful kill. We are now in difficulty 25. I don't really want to go much further since I do know what can be available to us. I know there's a lot of very scary designs. I know that the Steel Striders especially have a tank called the... I can't remember what it's called, but I know it has a supreme amount of firepower and a lot of anti-missile protection, which will also be anti-cram protection likely. There's loads of stuff we can see with an extreme difficulty spike. I think we're just getting very unlucky with the spawns. So I'm just going to ride around for a while. I refuse to go past a quarter of the way in the first episode, but I really, really, really want to see something which can take a few more hits. I found our final enemy, the Black Widow. 41k for the torso, 69k for the body. A very nice number indeed. So let's go. Really what I want to do is get as close as possible with the cram cannon. I need to get one good decisive hit. I mean, as for the flak, we can just open fire with that. If we can just hit one of the lasers once, maybe we can stop it briefly. I mean, it will repair quickly afterwards, but any damage done, of course, is good. I wonder how good EMP shells are for the advanced cannons. Just thinking with the shotgun. Probably would need a higher gauge, I imagine. Just some musings as I try and destroy this thing. Oh, it did take out one of the lasers there briefly, so it did do exactly what I wanted it to. You know what? Cram cannon to the torso. That should have done some damage. Oh, didn't even take out the laser. That is incredibly irritating. It is having trouble aiming at us, though. We've done something to it. I'm not quite sure exactly what we've messed up, but something is a little bit broken on this thing. It's really struggling to aim. I've broken something. Went for one of the legs there. Probably wasn't the right choice. A lot of the damage was wasted by the looks of things. Just keep on focusing on one area. Well, I wanted something sturdy, and apparently this thing's definitely living up to that, but it's not really dishing out the damage back to me. Again, I'm not sure what I've done to it. There goes a leg. And there we go, the enemy has been felled, the last one for today. I thought maybe I'd be able to capture it. I did! Well then. I could put this on top of our tank in the future. I'll definitely have to save this design. But with that, I'm afraid I am all out of time for today's video. This video's gone on for many hours longer than I expected. From the Depths has a way of just removing the entire day from you, and I have had so much fun. I cannot understate how much I love this vehicle. I know it doesn't look like much, but it is so fun to use. I love both of the weapons. It is incredibly enjoyable. So I really hope you've enjoyed it. And in the next video, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. Am I going to go ahead and go with the tank plan and make a tank which actually looks like a tank? Or am I going to continue this weird ski route and try to see the apex design of what we can do with this? Tell me in the comments, because I really don't know. So with that, if you have enjoyed today's video, then of course, likes, favourite, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. I am so glad to be back.